The readme.txt file contains all of the basic plugin information that will display on the WordPress.org site. Let's go ahead and open up the readme.txt file that you'll find in the project downloads. We can see at the top that it has some similar information that we saw at the top of our main plugin file. For example, if we go back and open up our main plugin file, we can see it has the plugin name, URI, description, version number, and some information about the author and license. In our readme.txt file, we have some similar information about the contributors, how far it's been tested, and what version of WordPress you need to use. We also have the stable tag, which tells WordPress the most recent version that people should be downloading. And again, we have our license information and a basic description of what the plugin does. Below that, we have several sections that correspond to the tabs you find on a plugin page in the WordPress.org repository. If we take a look at the Jetpack plugin by WordPress.com, we could see that it has the shortened description here, and then a tab for an extended description. We also have instructions on installation, which in this case is pretty simple, a section for FAQs, and then our screenshots. You'll notice that they have quite a number of screenshots with a short description for each one. This is a really helpful way for people that learn visually to understand what they can do with your plugin. The changelog is a simple list of what changes you make when each new version comes out. The other tabs here we don't include information for inside of our plugin file, and rather WordPress will create them for us. They have to do with things like how many people have downloaded our plugin, any sort of support questions, as well as reviews. Then, the Developers tab has in-depth information where developers can find out more about your specific versions and even get information to check out and make edits to the plugin on their own. Although, if they're not an official developer for the plugin, they won't be able to commit and make those changes. Let's come back into our readme.txt file now, and we can see that we have a description with an extended description of the plugin, our installation instructions for how to upload manually and install via the admin area, instructions on how to set up the plugin, as well as how to use the widget and the shortcode. Below that, we have some frequently asked questions like how do I find my Treehouse username, it's taking a really long time to load, and how do I customize the CSS? We've answered those questions and even given them some encoded markup so that they could see what the basic markup looks like and identify the proper classes to style. Then we answer a few more questions here and move down into our screenshots. You could see that for each of our screenshot, we have one line of text that gives a basic description of what that screenshot is about. Our screenshot files are stored in a folder called Assets, named screenshot-1.png, etc., all the way down through 8. This is how WordPress identifies what description should go with which graphic. Coming down, we have our changelog, which lists out what we've made changes to in each version, as well as an upgrade notice telling people why they should update to this version. This is where you might mention things like there's been a security patch or maybe additional features added. If you're building a plugin on your own, you could always start with this code, or WordPress offers an official example of the readme.txt file that you could find on their website. You'll see all of the same sections listed that we have in our own plugin. They also have a readme.txt validator where you could paste in a URL or your Readme file to make sure that it's in the proper format. I'd suggest you do this when you're uploading your own Readme files with your own plugins. Now that we have all of the metadata set up for our plugin, we can move on to actually submitting it to the WordPress.org repository.